Coming up tonight, the impact of emergency management in Michigan. Is it still the solution for struggling cities? Plus, Michigan's ban on gay marriage and its possible effect on our economic recovery. More ideas for Detroit's water department, and it's legal to do what in Grand Rapids? Its analysis of news across the state. MiWeek starts right now.
Michigan's turnaround is being powered by things we do better than anywhere else in the world. Today's global leaders routinely turn to Michigan to work on their most difficult problems. That's because the engineering talent in this part of the world is simply the best. So many possibilities lie ahead for Michigan's future. These opportunities are here and starting to happen. The vision for the new Michigan. Share it, talk it up, drive it home. Funding is also provided by Delta.
Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us for MiWeek. I'm Christy McDonald. The financial emergency is over for Benton Harbor. Tonight, a look at the success of emergency management in Michigan and if it's still a solution. Plus, as we wait for a court ruling, is the ban on gay marriage in Michigan potentially hurting the state's economic recovery? Also coming up tonight, Kevin Orr is getting creative with a plan B for the Detroit Water and Sewer Department. General Motors in crisis PR mode with a major recall. Legislators make a deal to fix our lousy roads, thank goodness. And weird ordinance ban of the week, what you can now legally do in Grand Rapids. All that is coming up for you tonight. But first, after 4 years, Benton Harbor is out of emergency management as of this week. The city has a budget surplus, made contributions to its pension fund. And as we come up on Detroit's anniversary with an EM, does Benton Harbor's success show that emergency managers are truly the solution for struggling cities? Let's start there tonight with our MiWeek contributors, Nolan Finley of the Detroit News, Stephen Henderson of the Detroit Free Press. Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
So it's been kind of a busy week, and good news for Benton Harbor coming out of emergency management. Just 4 years. So is this the success story we've been waiting to see on the EM front, Nolan?
Well, 4 years is a long time, and the new emergency manager law, which went into effect after Benton Harbor went in, only allows for 18 months of the initial emergency manager. So it's a long time. That was a major problem out there. Whether or not this solves their problems long term, who knows? But they managed to get through. They're financially much more rational, much better safe, and it is a good model for Detroit. Hopefully Detroit's won't take as long, but they did a lot of very hard things out there in terms of selling city-owned properties, outsourcing, privatizing services. They should be set up for the long term if they get better local decision makers.
All right, so that's basically the main point, though. Once you've set them up for success in the long term, you've got to have the political will to make those tough decisions to keep the city on track. Do you think that municipalities have that political will, Steve?
Well, history says no, right?
Yes.
Flint has been in and out twice, I believe, of emergency management. Probably, I understand, is headed for a bankruptcy later this year. Hamtramck has been in and out a couple times. Highland Park. This is a model. Detroit schools. It's a model that only takes you halfway, and that's the problem. It doesn't address the revenue side of things, and that's where cities are still struggling. You can go in and restructure debt. You can go in and stop wasteful practices. You can go in and outsource services, but you cannot raise revenues very easily in these cities. And so many municipalities are still really struggling with the loss of revenue sharing from the state, which is down significantly over the last decade, and the lack of recovery in the tax base to match the real estate rebound. I mean, because we have Prop A and the Headley Amendment, their tax bases don't recover at the same rate. And so you've got this big problem that's not really being addressed at the state level, and emergency management is not set up to deal with it. And that's why you see people going in and out of these.
Well, you see a somewhat different approach in Detroit. You see an awareness of that, I think, Steve,
Sure.
in that they are very aware of the fact that simply wiping away their debts and changing the operating structure outsourcing a few services is not going to fix the long-term problem of too few people, too few taxpayers in the city. And that's why I think you see a concentration on making Detroit livable again. And a big part of the discussion during this bankruptcy emergency manager process is not just fixing this finances, it's making Detroit a more livable place, improving services, making it safer.
And you've got to,
and that is essential. It's essential to all these. If you continue to be a place people want to leave instead of come to, you're never going to be a viable city. And I do think that both Orr and Mike Duggan understand that.
I think they do.
And the governor.
But I also, look in Kevin Orr's plan of adjustment. Look at the revenue projections out over the next 10 years up till 2023. Income tax goes down, property tax goes down, utility tax goes down.
There's no reason any of those should go down from the point today if they start collecting what they're owed. They're only collecting half what they're owed.
But that's a huge problem in being.
It's not one that's unfixable.
But even collecting what they're owed, those are projections based on what they would be able to collect over that time. You're seeing declines, and the only thing, as you point out, that'll fix that is having more people move into the city and pay taxes. That's a huge part of this. It's not a guarantee. Mike Duggan says he wants to grow the city's population starting in year 4 of his administration. That has not happened since 1950. I think it's great to set that as a goal. I'm not sure how realistic.
Well, you stabilize it first, but let me ask you this. Let's step back and take a look at the big picture of emergency management. Do we say that this is a successful model, that this is what Michigan should be doing for its cities? Is Benton Harbor, do we hold that up as the one success story, or how many success stories do you think that we're going to see?
I think the jury's still out. We don't know what's going to happen with Pontiac, which came out several months ago from emergency manager. All these places will still have, including Detroit, will still have a financial advisory board to oversee
transition them out
operations for a few years. I don't know if it's the best solution. It's the only solution anybody's come up with. The answer simply is not simply throwing a whole lot more money into badly managed cities. We've tried that. That money just disappears. I think you have to have some element of restructuring and hopefully a culture change in terms of the operations of these cities. We haven't seen yet the culture change that emergency manager was supposed to deliver.
And the culture change is a lot harder than wiping out the debt.
I actually disagree with that in Flint. I mean, Flint's a good example of where that culture change did take place, and you had a very good mayor in place. You had a competent council. There's just not enough money to operate these cities the way that they're set up, and at some point we have to face the real question of whether we want to pay for the government that we have in this state, or if we want to do something else.
You can't continue to pay to operate cities that are designed for 2 and 3 times the population they have. That's not fair to communities elsewhere. So the expectation of Detroit and Flint and other places is to reposition that footprint so you have a manageable city. I mean, you can't pay to operate a city for 2 million people that only has 680.
Right. Well, but the footprint is the problem in Detroit, and you can't just, in Michigan, you can't just like lop off parts of a community. I mean,
and consolidation has been a pretty dirty word.
Consolidation is not something people want to do. Oakland County doesn't want to take responsibility for Detroit. Wayne County doesn't want to take responsibility for Detroit.
But the Detroit Future City Plan, in terms of shrinking it to a manageable footprint, it's long-term, but it's got to start sometime.
Sure.
And I think that's the only answer. You have to reshape these communities to make them viable for the size they are, not the size they were.
Or we could decide that, we're going to fund cities the way that we used to.
So what do you defund, Steve?
Well, the taxes are growing. The tax base is growing in the state. The state is showing surpluses every year while it's starving cities of the money that they used to get.
A lot of this year's surplus coming back.
Some of it coming to cities,
and to school districts. So.
All right. Well, talking about Detroit and the fact that we're going on the year anniversary of underneath emergency management, talks are now going nowhere for a regional authority for the Detroit Water and Sewer Department. So emergency manager Kevin Orr is turning to Plan B and starting to look at privatization or just selling. And selling that might be the last solution, but privatization seems to be picking up a lot of steam here in the conversation, Nolan.
I think Plan B is actually the better plan. I mean, you bring in, the problem with this water department over the years has been extremely poor management. They were you know, the place that folks dumped people they need to find jobs for. You know, Coleman Young was famous for sending over 6-7 people to the water department and say, find something for them to do. It was 80% overstaffed and is still extraordinarily overstaffed. They haven't downsized yet. So bringing in professional management to make the operation more efficient, maximize the revenues, what have you, is the first step. Where I think Kevin Orr is making a huge miscalculation is thinking that this water department can be a revenue stream for the city. I think until you fix the infrastructure, until you fix all of the operating problems in that system, you can't expect it to produce money for the Detroit's treasury.
Couldn't it be the best possible source of revenue that the city could have if they fit? I mean,
it's the only source. I mean,
not when it needs $5 billion worth.
The truth is,
but what other source should they have for revenue other than
well,
what?
and okay, so number one, the water department is a mess and has been for a long time. But
Okay, that we can all agree on.
But there's a plan on the table to get rid of the excess and manage it much better. Under the current management, under Sue McCormick, it is being run far, far, far more sanely than it was before. I mean, I think it's a mistake to not give them credit for the work that's been done. Now, there's a lot more to do, and it'll be years before we get to the point where it's being operated the way it should.
But you don't have years right now for the region to be able to buy into what the changes that they're already making now.
The idea that somehow this is worthless. It is a multi-billion-dollar system that the city of Detroit owns. Now, if we go out and put it on the market and try to sell it, it's worth something. Now, if it's worth $1 billion instead of $4 billion because of the backlog maintenance, that's fine. If we got $1 billion in cash into the city of Detroit, we could do a lot of things that we're talking about doing. So it's not a question of whether it's a revenue source. It is. It's a question of how you monetize it. The more practical way to monetize it is to create an authority and keep it under some sort of independent authority. Privatizing water systems doesn't work. You go to Atlanta, it's been a disaster there in terms of service to customers, in terms of cost.
There's no way the suburbs are going to take this deal. It's a lousy deal for the suburbs. You're telling them.
But so is privatization.
Okay, you're telling the suburbs, okay, we're going to. I mean, to be realistic, you're looking at rate increases of 7 to 10% a year just to fix the infrastructure, and then you're telling them.
But you're going to pay that anyway.
Then you're telling. It's got to be paid anyway.
Yeah.
But then you're telling them, and we want another 4% to bail out Detroit's finances, and that's where they're saying, wait a minute, we'll pay for the infrastructure repairs.
Right.
We know that's coming, and we know we delayed it.
But if you sell it, you're going to pay that 7 to 10% plus a premium, right? You're going to pay. It'll be 15 to 20% because they want to make money.
But if you go to a private operator and simply pay the operator a management fee, you eliminate that extra 3-4%.
Oh, absolutely not. People who privatize water systems are paying more
You
for
hire
water.
a private operator, you reassure the bond markets that all of the shenanigans that have plagued this
Bond markets aren't concerned about DWSD. DWSD sold bonds.
Horrible bond rating.
DWSD,
it's got a junk rating.
DWSD sold bonds at
a very high
fall.
rate.
The city can't sell bonds at all. I mean,
a private operator may reassure these markets that you're going to get better operation. If the rate goes down, you realize a tremendous savings.
The rates will not go down.
Okay, so now
this
is what I'm looking at right now. This is actually the biggest problem because the city does not have the time to negotiate. And if you guys can't agree on this, and we're sitting here talking about this, think of what's happening inside these rooms. And Kevin Orr does not have the time because the money surrounding the water department is what he's looking for as revenue for the city.
He holds all the cards. Okay, if they don't want to sign on to an authority, he will get a private operator to do it, or he'll sell it. It is going to be monetized one way or another, and it's not just Kevin Orr who's going to insist on that. I believe Judge Rhodes will insist on some revenue coming out of that water department.
So in that case,
and it's just a question of how to do it.
In that case, what difference does it make to the suburbs? Why would they want to take this headache on?
Well,
Stephen, what is the best option? What's the best option, and what do you think needs to happen
to me, the best option is an authority that everybody takes responsibility for, everybody manages. You will get lower rates because Oakland and Macomb have better credit ratings. If they're part of the authority, you will bring the borrowing rate down. You will be able to invest in the system. You're going to have to raise rates one way or another. That's a foregone conclusion. And the city will get some money out of giving up its asset. It's the most rational plan. The problem is that the politics of this in the suburbs are that oh, we're giving money to the city
Which is absolutely
for something that, but it's giving money to the city for something that they own. It's not worthless.
You're also asking
it's got some value.
You're also asking them, once you make an authority, to cover the 80% delinquency rate in the city. Highland Park hasn't paid its water bills in how long? So you're asking
you got to
the
clean all that
suburbs to
up.
say, yeah, but you're
going to pay that anyway. You're going to pay it anyway.
Today, those delinquencies are paid by the community they're incurred in. Now you're going to say Oakland County, Wayne County,
and if
Macomb,
a private
you
operator
pay
comes
those.
in, they will spread the cost of those delinquencies across the entire region.
So what's the incentive then for the suburbs?
Because they will have some say in the management of the system if they're part of the authority. If it's sold to a private operator, they will just be customers.
Nolan,
and they will get whatever they want, whatever they have to get.
They'll also have responsibility for this mess, and they're the ones who are going to have to go to the
Well, they won't have
residents and say,
responsibility.
we're going to raise
Okay,
the
hang
rates.
on. Nolan, what needs to be said to Oakland County and Macomb County to even have them agree to this deal in the time frame that needs to happen?
Well, I don't think there's any possibility of that, but for one,
They won't do it.
They need the due diligence. They haven't seen. You talked to Oakland County, you talked to Bob Datto, and he hasn't seen the data. He hasn't got all the
Yeah, but we've
information
talked
he's
about that. We talked
requested.
about like the 3 weeks ago that they haven't seen the data.
They've
No,
been
they
given
have
what's
not.
available. Here's where I mean, this is actually a very simple practical problem. The system gets fully audited at specific intervals. We're between those intervals, so the numbers that from the last official audit they have are older than you would like them to be for a deal like this. You can't just order up that kind of audit right now. So what they're giving them is numbers that are based on that last audit that are projected forward. I understand that that's not good enough.
Not for a deal of this size.
Yeah, but
they-
you
they
can't.
don't-
How do you fix it?
They don't know what
That's
the
a great question.
labor situation is. There are a lot of things they don't know that
But the next
that
audit
Kevin has been slow in delivering.
Well, how's he supposed to do that? I mean, you can't just perform that kind of audit out of nowhere. It's not scheduled for right now.
All right.
So you're going to have to take some of this stuff on faith.
They've
All
not
right.
got all the available information either, Steve. I mean,
Oh,
you know,
they absolutely have.
Okay, well, I have a feeling that we're going to be talking about this next week as well. Okay, turning now to Michigan's gay marriage debate played out in federal court over the last few weeks, and we're waiting for a judge's decision that could possibly overturn Michigan's ban. And that led to a thought-provoking article from our partners at Bridge Magazine. Is the ban on gay marriage potentially hurting Michigan's economic recovery by making us a state that perhaps isn't attractive for people to want to come to? Before we get to that quick conversation, let's talk a little bit about the case that the state put on, and now we're waiting for the judge's decision. It was interesting, borderlining on the bizarre at times.
Yeah, and it certainly was. And I think the unanswered question here, and the assumption is because you have clerk in Oakland County, Brown, saying, well, I'm going to issue licenses. and
She's ready
services.
whenever.
It has. And the question that hasn't been answered, and I've asked the Attorney General's office about this and haven't got an answer yet, is gay marriage was not legal in Michigan before this ban was adopted by voters. It's not like we made something that was legal illegal. Gay marriage wasn't legal, so voters passed this preemptive ban. If the judge says the ban violates civil rights, it's no good, you can't do this, voters, does that take you back to the status quo where you were before? When
It would, in terms of state law, it would. Sure.
Well, do you still need then the legislature or voters to act?
I think in the ideal you would. I also think, though, that so much has changed on the federal landscape since Michigan instituted its ban that and I'm not saying I agree or disagree with Lisa Brown in Oakland. I'm not sure either whether she's right, but I think what she's saying is there's sufficient federal sanction for not discriminating against gay couples on this basis that she would just go ahead and issue the licenses.
But I don't think I'm uncertain she has
not-
that authority.
I'm not certain
And,
she does
I
either.
think, obviously, the legislature's not going to do this. I think there should be a ballot proposal. Let the voters have, another shot at it in this new sort of era, and recognizing that attitudes have changed since that ban was
Stephen,
passed.
does it make Michigan unattractive to have this kind of ban
Well,
in place?
I mean, it makes you something of a pariah at this point. I mean, the spectacle of this trial, I think, has been horribly embarrassing. I mean, you read the stories in the Times and the Post about the testimony that's been offered in court on behalf of the state. It's one of the worst cases I've seen of this, of a state trying to defend this thing. I actually covered covered the gay marriage proceedings in New Jersey when they sued, a couple there sued for it. It was a much more sophisticated case that the state put on. In the end, they lost too. You know, there aren't really sufficient constitutional reasons to deny, to allow the state to perform this kind of discrimination, is what it comes down to. But I really have been disappointed by the case that Bill Schuette's office has put on. It's been, you know, completely laughable, kinds of the arguments that have been dismissed over and over again, not just in other state courts, but at the federal level.
Yeah, I think it was a losing approach from the beginning to try to base the argument on whether gays would be good parents or not good parents. I mean, some will, some won't, like everybody else. I think the core issue here is, do states have the right to set legal policy? And in setting this policy, did it violate someone's civil rights? I mean, marriage is a legal contract. And does the state have the right to say, you two people can enter these contracts, but you two people can't? This is not, from the purpose of the state, this is not a religious institution. This is a civil contract. Sure. And I think once you get to arguing it as a civil contract, you've got no case.
Yeah.
Well, we should be hearing from the judge in the next week or so for a decision. It's time now for headlines. All right, some other stories making news this week. General Motors facing an investigation over the ignition recall, plus a money deal for roads, and feel free to spit in Grand Rapids. Real quick, so GM, this is a big deal for them in the eyes. And will consumers start to back off and say, oh, wait a minute, GM's product isn't as good as I thought it used to be?
It's never good for consumers when you have this sort of safety issue. What's intriguing to me about this case is these violations and this cover-up, apparently, occurred in the old GM.
Before bankruptcy.
Under
Started
law,
back in 2001,
that
right?
Doesn't exist anymore. And by the way, for 4 years of that period, it was owned and basically operated by the federal government. I think that's what makes, you know, this hugely intriguing in how the federal government responds, and whether, you know, you have some hint that it's going to be prosecuted as a criminal case, but against who?
Well, it'd be against the board. I mean, you know, for most of that time.
But that's the old GM. That company that was wiped away.
They went away, and I guess I don't know how that works. It's certainly an embarrassment for the company that now we're learning that as early as 2001 they had some hint about these problems and didn't fix them. I mean, this is the kind of thing that can sink car companies.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
People have to trust that they're safe.
All right, well, let's go ahead. $215 million to fill the potholes that keep plaguing my drive everywhere
That's
I go.
about $1 a pothole.
That's
Right.
or car repair. So everyone was able to come to a decision this week. Nice to hear for drivers.
Sort of.
Sort
but
of.
It's just not.
Oh, you guys are so half.
It's not
half
the kind
empty.
of investment. It's people It's people looking at cost, not understanding value.
That's absolutely right. I mean, we have to have a long-term solution. And, you know, I am, again, not a big tax hike guy, but I think in this case, the users have to pay for keeping these roads smooth.
All right. Okay. And the last item on our headlines agenda. You know, out in Grand Rapids, they used to have an ordinance banning spitting. You could not spit in Grand Rapids, but this week they lifted that ban. So now feel free to go to Grand Rapids and spit in public all you want.
It's a wild, wild west out there, isn't it? I'm not sure I wouldn't have kept that law on the books. There's nothing more disgusting than be walking along
people
the
spitting?
sidewalk and having some big honker laying on the front.
This was about tobacco, though. I mean,
This was about tobacco and the spittoons back in the day, right? But they just never got around to. Also a safety hazard if you slip.
yeah, right. That's right.
My grandmother used to chew tobacco, and she just spit it and sit on the front porch and spit it everywhere. It was the nastiest thing I've ever seen.
That's a visual. That could be some good
Yeah, well,
Nolan home movies I'd like to see someday.
You'd be a little boy accidentally walking by and get one in the side of the head. You'd think disgusting.
All right, thanks, guys, and that's going to do it for My Week. Thanks so much for joining us. Check out MyWeek.org and find us on social media during the week. We're on Facebook and Twitter at MyWeek. For all of us at Detroit Public Television, I'm Christy McDonald. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.